Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? This is an episode series where I go over building my database, in case anyone was interested. I've had people in the past say, hey, I would be interested in watching you do this. So that is all this is. It's more of a hangout. So if you're coming into this during the replay, if you're interested in database creation, you're interested in curating data and stuff like that, this video is for you. And plus you get to see maybe how I see golf stats or anything like that. But yeah, this is more of a hangout. I'll be going over, I'll just answer any questions. So when people do come in and might have questions for me, I will answer them. And plus, if you want to see certain stats, like, because the goal of this is to have a website up and running by the Masters. That's why I call it the road to the Masters, is because I want a website up and running before the Masters. This is incentive, or this will incentivize me to do so. You know, as long as I'm doing it in front of you guys and I commit myself to doing it, I will complete it. So that's kind of the whole goal. What's going on, Ken? Nice to see you here. And again, if you guys have ideas that you'd like me to implement as I go through this, I certainly can do that. I've got no issue with that. So leave your questions in the chat if you come here during the live video. If not, you can also leave them during the comment section, or put them in the comment section when this goes on replay. This will be the last week that I do it for free, though. You will have to become a member. And if you see the little join button down here somewhere, I'm not sure exactly where it is, click that join button. I think the cheapest tier is $1.99, so it's only $2. I think you can see replays. I'd have to double check. But yeah, because once we get rolling into this, it will be more sensitive data that and ideas that I rather not give away for free. That's kind of what it is. Plus, but you know what? One other thing to note, there's a chance you could win money through the giveaways that I do. So if you comment during these live videos, if you comment on the replays or any video that I post throughout the week, you get a chance not only to win $5 over there for the weekly prize, but $100 for the monthly prize. And that's just, you just need to be subscribed. You need to participate on the channel. That requires you to comment, like either again in the comment section or here during the live chat. So Ken, right now, you get a free entry into the giveaway. And again, it's $5 weekly, so I can pay for your membership. I'll give you $5 to give back to me. Basically, that's kind of how it'll work. So, I mean, it's a give and take, you know. Like I said, I just don't want to give information, like sensitive information, away for free. That's kind of the only reason that I'm going to put it behind a paywall. But right now it's free. Today it's free. Anyways, there you go. You can have your chance to win some money. We did hit our goal, so I will be giving away $100 at the end of the month. So if you want a chance to win 100, go ahead and comment. Yeah, I think that's about all that I have for the intro. Again, this is like a little hangout section. If you want to ask me questions, like the Sony Open is happening right now. I'm paying attention to it as I'll be doing this. That's why I'll be looking off to the right. That's where the Sony Open is for me. Little disappointing to see Ludwig not play as well as I anticipated him to, but the wind is pretty high too, so like there are heavy winds going on right now. Yeah, I think that is all that I have for the intro. So let's go ahead and throw up the database. If you didn't know, I mean, where we left off last week, basically I was doing snapshots of the strokes gained stats. And what I mean by snapshots, when I create the bucket system, let me actually pull up the Sony Open. So I go over this during my DFS strategy videos, every Tuesday night when I go live for these. And we look at basically this page right here. This page is kind of a matrix letting us know, you know, what type of golfers do well at tournaments. Basically, and with that, how many golfers you should have in your lineups. So a different way to say that is I keep track, I take a snapshot of the stats I care about leading into an event, and then I analyze them for every single event. You know, this is the Sony Open, so when I think about the Sony Open, basically I will look at stats like this. So I'll go to 2013. You can see there's not a lot of data on here. This is where my data begins. 2013 at the Tournament of Champions. Then the Sony was the very next tournament. From here, what can I gain? What can I actually look at? Well, I can see what they did at the Tournament of Champions. I don't know if Ken, if you're listening to other podcasts talking about, oh yeah, it really matters if you play at the Tournament of Champions prior to coming into the Sony Open. It's very, very generalized information. Well, what about playing the week before? Does it matter if they had a top 10, you know, finishing spot like Matt Kuchar? How about just a like top 24, top 25? Well, we have it with Mark Leishman. So we got two guys inside the top 10. That's what this is. This is the leaderboard for the Sony Open. The top 10 that finished 23rd and 9th. So they played the week before, but do you see how many other guys did not play? So when someone, and this is just 2013, mind you. So 2013, we had two golfers that did play. Well, as I go to 2014, okay, Jimmy Walker finished 21st during the Tournament of Champions the week before. Okay, if I go back to 2013, that's Mark Leishman. So now I have two guys just in these 2 years that were in that finished 20th place the week before. Well, I also have Chris Kirk. I also have Harris English that finished top 20. Well, that also kind of goes in line with Matt Kuchar having a top 10. You know, this green, why I color it green is top 20s. The yellow is 20 to 40. Tournament Champions usually has 30 to 40 golfers in it, so you're never going to really see a higher number than that, except for this last week. So as I go throughout, you know, every single year, here's 2015. Did Jimmy Walker win back-to-back? Oh, I guess he did. So we look here, again, top 20, 17th place. What we don't have is a 25th, you know, a top 25 spot, or like that 20 to 25 spot. Tim Clark down here. It's not going to win you a GPP. And that's the whole goal of SweetSpotDFS, is targeting the optimal lineup. I want to be perfect. So the only way to be perfect is to analyze very specific stats. So basically how I chalk this up, every single week that I do a DFS strategy video, I go over the bucket system, which I'm looking at the snapshot from last week. What did they do the week before? Whether they played or they didn't, and if they did play, what kind of finishes did we see inside the top 10? I really only care about finding golfers inside the top 10. If you aim that small, you'll hit small. And if I want to hit the optimal lineup, I have to aim small. But, you know, we could, with this database, we'll be able to expand it to even like top 20 finishes. Not just top 10, but we could do top 20 finishes and figure out, all right, what are some of the performance snapshots or performance trends, if you want to call it. Figure it out from there, and maybe we'll find bigger pools of golfers to select from, or a little bit more of a forgiving pool of golfers to select from. Because right now, just top 10 golfers, you have a limited stat profile when you look at the bucket system, when you try to select golfers from. There's going to be golfers that finish 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th place that will be in the optimal lineup. You'll see that throughout this year, but I just like to aim for top 10 finishes. But like I said, what I was going over before is like, okay, we have 3 golfers that the week before finished inside the top 10, and then we got one guy that's in that 20th position. Well, what if every single year we see, I mean, we didn't see it in 2015, but if I continue to go forward, you see this 20 to 25th spot somewhere inside the top 10. And normally you only have 3 to 6 golfers that end up being in that position that play in the Sony Open. Well, now you have a really small pool of golfers to select from. And I'm not saying that's a performance trend that causes a good, top 10 finish, but I'd be dubious to not think it matters. Like I would think it matters. So again, the bucket system for me, I'm taking snapshots of stats before the event starts. So right here, I'm looking at the snapshot of the week before, the finishes from the week before. I'm also taking a snapshot of what their finish was the year prior at this event. So those are pretty easy. So I called this the last year bucket. I called this the last week bucket. So those are 2 buckets that I go over. They're snapshots. Well, I also take account of their course history. So their course history is just looking at all their average finishing positions for that event and breaking them into tiers, basically. And again, they're snapshots. And this is my way to analyze, well, look at this. You had 3 golfers that have just had terrible course history leading into 2016 finish inside the top 10. So when we're like trying to figure out, course history matters at this golf course. It's the stickiest thing. This is the stickiest stat to go over. Okay. I would imagine to the average person that means find really good course history, right? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Well, as I go through 2017, I'm like, green is good. Red's not. Red is not a good color, but you can see just by numbers alone what course history, that kind of stuff, if it matters. Go to 2018. The winner had terrible course history, followed by 2 other guys that didn't have super good course history, and then 5 guys that did. Okay, but you still needed these 3 guys. You see, they're all in the optimal lineup, these 3. If you didn't have those 3 in your lineup, you're not hitting the optimal. Go to 2019. Okay, good course history with Matt Kuchar, bad course history with Andrew Putnam, and also bad course history. Now, my course history goes back to 2013. Davis Love III probably has results at this event that predate 2013. I just don't have it. So it's like 1 guy still had bad course history, and 1 other guy dating back to 2013 had bad course history. So those 2 guys you needed in your lineup for the optimal lineup. You also had 4 guys that had good course history. So we go into 2020. 2 guys with good course history, a couple guys with like middle course history, a bad course history guy. Once again, 2021, a little bit better. So we have better course history. Not such bad in 2021. In 2022, not great course history for a lot of these guys. Actually, so 2 of these guys had bad course history. 2023, same thing. 2 guys had bad course history. Only 1 guy had really good course history. So like, that's what I like to analyze when it comes to this. And so I take these snapshots and I call that the bucket system. So what I'm doing with the bucket system, I'll just minimize this, is, I shouldn't say what I'm doing with the bucket system. What I'm doing with the database is I'm capturing all this information. So basically, if I go over here to the left, you're going to see all the golfers' names right here. You're going to see the tournament they played at. I can't highlight it, I guess. There you go. The tournament that they played at. I also have a short name for the tournament because some of them are super long, like the FedEx St. Jude Championship. I'll just call it the FedEx St. Jude. And this is also easier for me to identify certain golfers the golfers, the years they played. So in order to do that, you kind of have to put together kind of a new ID, a new identification for these golfers. So Mark Hubbard at the FedEx St. Jude Championship in 2023, I had to name Mark Hubbard _2023 week 49 because it was in the 49th week of the season. This will be a unique identifier that nobody else, like, he doesn't have for any of the other ones. So that's my way to determine Mark Hubbard at the FedEx St. Jude in 2023 versus Mark Hubbard in 2022, and it allows me to pull stats much simpler. So that's why I name it that way. And this is kind of for those that are trying to learn database stuff, this is an easy way to do your VLOOKUPs, an easy way to just scrape data for specific stats. So one thing that I love about this is recent form. This is why I created this one, is because when I think of recent form, I like to go back a certain amount of events. I don't like to do like X amount of rounds. X amount of rounds is so inconsistent. Like, I wouldn't want Adam Scott's last 24 rounds. That could span over 3 months. I'd rather not look at that. Like, that's not important to me. I mean, my recent form looks back within the last 2 months, which is probably arguably too long to go back 1 week. But in order to get that information, I had to create those identifiers, and I'm trying to find my recent form. I hid a lot of these columns. There we go. I'll unhide this, and you'll see. I don't know if you can see it that well on your guys' screen, but I'll zoom in. You can see week 11, week 10, week 9, week 8, and these are what I call my recent form. This is going back 11 weeks, or actually it's really going back 12 weeks, going back 11, and so on and so forth. And that's how I find out what my recent form is. I'm gonna have to scroll back to here. Yeah, so this column right here, it's my recent form. So, and when I figured this out, it was awesome because I was able to, like, it's so good, it's so satisfying when you create the formula you're looking for that you need. Like, my formula is written right in here. You can kind of see it right there. That's just for the average. If I want to pull the last couple weeks, like, that's what we're looking at. So I'm looking at column G, so you can actually see what I love Excel when it does this. So I have the formula, like I've clicked into the formula. The formula is looking at the golfer. So we're looking at, let's just say it's Emiliano Grillo. I don't have another pro tip when you're doing database: copy and paste your values once you're done with your formula, or you're going to get an issue like back 9 bets Byron. I don't know if he'll ever show up here, but he has all these live formulas in his spreadsheet, which I understand why he needs that, but it bogs down his system. So if you want to see where live formulas are, you just hit Control-tilde, and you can see where all my formulas are right now. But you can see above the formulas, it's all just straight up data. There's no formulas there because I don't want to bog my system down. I want it to operate optimally, efficiently. But yeah, you can see lots of data, and then underneath I have just all of these formulas. And that's when I start copying and pasting in data, it's just going to be able to pull the information I need, like, super fast. Super fast. Interesting song. It's a new playlist. Very interested. I haven't heard it yet, but it's from White Bat Audio, which you can see the description. All right, I don't mind it. I like hard rock, so, like, this is more like synth, you know, but kind of heavier. Kind of like it. Joanne, good evening. Are you still here? I don't know if you just came in to say hi and then left. What's going on, Lombardi Lee? Now, who else is in chat right now? I didn't even pull up to see what I can kind of see how many views, how many viewers I have. Looks like we got 4. Lovely. Okay. I hit a button. What did I do? Nothing. Okay. So now that you get kind of the rundown of how the database works, or what I'm doing with the database. What's going on, Jeff? I am... Well, here, let me explain this again. So I'm drilling down into this formula. And in order to find 1 week prior, what I'm doing is I'm looking at Emiliano Grillo, And actually, when I have to combine Emiliano Grillo with his season and week to create this column right here. Remember I was just talking about I had to create a new unique identifier. So during the Tour Championship, he's actually going to be Emiliano Grillo _ 2023 _ week 51. And so what I want to do is I want to find Emiliano Grillo _ 2023 _ week 50. So that's what I want to find is, did he play last week? Because that's what his identifier would be. And if he didn't, he'd get a 0 for his week 1. But he did. He finished 20th. And so like one way we can validate that is just go back 1 week and see if we can find Emiliano Grillo in 20th position. And obviously I have that right here, which, did I spell that wrong? I did. Interesting. I go back to BMW Championship. Did I look at that wrong? I must have looked at that wrong. Okay. Week 1 was actually 31st. Week 2, so if we go back 1 week, he should be 31st position. If we go back 2 weeks, he finished 20th in that spot. So then when again, I'm looking for Emiliano Grillo in 31st position for the BMW Championship. So here's the BMW, trying to find 31st place. So it's right in here. There we go. There's Emiliano Grillo. So it pulled in perfectly. Like I said, his other identifier is Emiliano Grillo _ 2023 _ week 50. Now remember, he finished 20th the week prior to this. So now I go up to the next tournament, which is going to be the FedEx St. Jude. And I'm looking for Emiliano Grillo _ 2023 _ week 49. That's going to be the new identifier. So again, he finished 20th. So I go up to the 20th position, go over, there you go. There's Emiliano Grillo, week 49. It's beautiful. Like, I absolutely love, like, this is, sometimes I'll just sit and think, I'm like, okay, what kind of formula? And this is like if I'm going to bed or if I'm out and about, like, this is kind of how my brain works. I'm just like, man, couldn't figure out how to pull the 1 week before. What can I write? And not that this formula was the one that I kind of already had an idea that I needed to do this. The one formula that I absolutely love, like literally the best thing that I guess I'm the most proud of. I had opened up talking about this database, going over snapshots. Snapshots, again, I'll explain it, are taking a set of data and taking a snap, like a picture. Boom. Taking a picture, that's the data right then and there. I'm keeping track of that for every golfer, every tournament leading into the tournament, because the thing that bothers me the most in this golf industry, this fantasy golf industry, or just golf industry altogether, is how the first point is how short people's memories are, but 2, no one holds anyone accountable. Those are my 2 big issues with the fantasy golf industry. And what I mean by that, why those 2 things are an issue to me, is because how often do you hear someone go into an event, like you're listening to another podcaster, right? For this event, I was just telling, I think Ken was the only person that was in the chat when I was going over this, but at the Sony Open, the stickiest stat is course history. Okay, show me that course history is the stickiest stat. Next year, or the winner might actually have good course history this year. But in order, like, because I'm doing DraftKings lineups and I mean, I haven't really done FanDuel lineups in a long time, but they still work the same. You got to put 6 golfers together. In order to hit the optimal lineup, you're going to have to look at some golfers you probably didn't think you had to look at. How are you going to figure out those golfers? You're not going to grab 6 golfers with really good course history. That never really works out. And if you did, then you absolutely have to have the most perfect, 6 golfers with really good course history, which I understand when it comes to the optimal lineup, you just have to have the perfect 6 no matter what. That might be a little bit more challenging. Could be easier, I guess, if there's limited amount of people and it works out that way, but most often it doesn't. Okay, so what I was getting at, my most favorite formula that I figured out was this one. It was taking snapshots of the strokes gain data. So like if I want to look back a year, you got to go back 1 full year. Well, doing and the other thing to go with it is I'm trying to average out the strokes gain data. So this is what I was trying to figure out on stream last week, and I don't think I did, or I said we would go over it during this week, was the formula that I ended up creating, which is going over this the strokes gain stat that I'm looking at. So here it's for off the tee, strokes gain off the tee. Now this is the raw data that was captured through Data Golf that I copied to my database. And what I want to do is look at a golfer's full year of strokes gain off the tee data. So here we are, we're looking at that, and I want to average, just like what strokes gain data does. It averages out your off the tee stats if you're going back X amount of months, weeks, rounds, whatever it is. I want to create that snapshot. And so basically what you have to do is you have to look at the stat. You got to use the average if, or average ifs formula. Got to use that. Then you look at your golfer in column G. And then from there, we need to figure out the date range that we're looking at. This was the most difficult thing that I had to figure out. Is I know how like the if function works in Excel, like either count ifs, max ifs, average ifs, all of those different if functions. I didn't know how to figure out the date portion of it. So what you end up having to do, you're not going to be able to see it on your screen all that well. I can go over here so you guys can see the formula. Again, I don't know how well you can see that. Can I zoom in? All right, hold on. So if I go in here, it's small, but you can see it. If error, if, because I always want if errors. I hate when I see an error show up. And when there is an error, I just make it be blank. That's kind of what you see over on the tail end over here on the right. But basically, anything less than 2018, I just want NA because I don't have stats for that right now. So I want my database to look at NA. I need an identifier when it comes to building my website in the database to filter out NAs. Because why I look at it, I don't have data for you know, strokes gain data that goes before 2018. So just don't look at it. And then I want to average out the strokes gained off the tee stats. I want to average out those stats. But I need a date range. So we're going to look at the golfer. That's one of the criteria. We look through column G, and then the precise cell in column G. So you can see that right here. We're looking at that. Imagine like it was Emiliano Grillo, the cell above it. It would just look in this column, look for Emiliano Grillo, and then what else it's doing is here's our date range. This is super handy. So column D is where my date range is. You can see it's highlighted, column D. And if we want to take the range, what you have to do is go quotes, open quotes, I should say, greater than closed quotes. This is what I got hung up on because I thought I could put everything inside the open and closed quotes. You can't. You do the end symbol, or the ampersand, sum of the date range you're looking at minus 365. So what I'm telling Excel to do is look back 365 days from this date. Because again, this is a greater than. So I want to pull all the data greater than 365 days ago. But also, this is the big thing when it came to, you know, curating the data, is in that same column, I don't want to choose anything less than today's date, or anything more than today's date. I forgot about that when I was like, you know, auto-filling the formulas. So I had to do this. I could actually get rid of this now, because all the new the new fresh data that's going to come in, there's never going to be data that comes after it unless I'm behind. I probably will keep this regardless, keep this piece in there regardless, because it's a safeguard. But this was amazing. Figuring out this formula was, it's the meat of the database, because the strokes gain data is probably the most difficult thing to average out and take a snapshot of. So this is going back one full year. I could do this, you know, the last 2 months. I could do this any way that I see fit, because I know that formula. So that's perfect. It's beautiful. JK says, I always thought Excel was like nothing in the coding world, but it's actually involved in a lot of processes. Yeah. Well, you also have VBA that's connected to it, so you can write all your SQL scripts in there that you normally would in like Microsoft SQL. I mean, VBA works a little bit different, but you certainly can use that and script it out however you want it. Some people much rather choose that, which I don't blame them for. I'm not really super proficient in that, so that's why I don't. Okay, I think it just might be you and me, JK. I only see one person in the chat, which is fine. Again, this isn't for everyone, not that it's that big of a deal. But anyways, moving on. We're getting into what we want to do next. I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit so it's easier for me to do, easier for me to work. I do have data in here that I've copied over from a different process. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm keeping it in here for right now, because I want to validate it against the data I'm going to curate soon. I want to check my salaries. Okay. Let's see. This is an ad. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I just copied this column, which you can't. Oh, I hate when it does that. I've had this open for so long that I think Excel just isn't happy. I'm trying to highlight the column and it's not letting me. Or at least you can't see it. But it's this column right here. That one I copied over. I could probably delete this. I'm always so afraid of deleting stuff, so I'm not going to. But anyways, I want to create the new buckets based off the data that I got from that I already had in here, I should say, and from Data Golf. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to build formulas. If I can find them. There we are. So I already have a formula written in here. And it is looking at certain ranges for the stats that I have. So I am looking at course history for this one. So we're looking at this number in specific. And If you're familiar with the bucket system, you know what each of the bucket numbers represent. 6 means they have 0 course history. So that's what this if statement says. If that value in that cell equals blank, we want 6. If it's greater than 80, we want 5. Now, course history is actually an average of the last finishing positions dating back to 2013. So when it's 80 on the button, I actually want to include it in the 60 to 80 range. But if it was 80.01, it would be in that bucket. And so that's going to apply for the rest of these. When I write different formulas for the other buckets, it's going to be a little bit different. But yeah, you can see here if it's greater than 40, so it'd be that 40 to 60 range. So how this would work out is, first of all, I'm looking to see if it's blank. If it is blank, then it's a 6. If it's not blank, we're going to first look to see if it's greater than 80. If it's not greater than 80, or I should say, if it is greater than 80, then it's a 5. If it isn't, then I want to see if it's greater than 60, because I have already eliminated greater than 80. So that's basically telling Excel this is the range that I'm looking for between 60 and 80. If it's within there, it's 4. If not, now we're looking to see if it's greater than 40, because again, the same logic applies that I was just saying before. If it isn't greater than 80, and then it isn't greater than 60, we've already eliminated those ranges. Now we're coming down to 40. And if it's not 40, we go to see if it's 20. If it's greater than 20, we give it a 2. Now, why there isn't another logical or another formula written here is because the only other logical outcome would be 1. I've covered all of the tracks that you possibly can have. This is if all of the other statements, all the other logical formulas, if they don't provide a result, then it's going to be 1. It'll always be 1 if it doesn't fulfill any of these formulas. So, some of you already know that. I'm sure some of you are going to come here and be like, come on, dude, I'm not looking for a refresher. But some people that are coming here didn't even know about this. JK, I missed your last one. VLOOKUPs, I've been using the import HTML and pivot tables. That's one way to do it too. I have a question for you though. If you've been using pivot tables, or not pivot tables, if you've been doing import HTML, what site are you pulling that data from? Is it the PGA Tour site? Because once they upgraded their interface or their website, it was difficult pulling data from. Anyways, let's move on. So I already wrote in my course history. So one thing I got caught up on, I was doing this the other day. One thing I got caught up on is I want to create I can't remember what it's called, like a conditional in there that would say, oh, maybe I did. I suppose I did. Oh no, no. I remember what I need to do. Yes. Okay, so I need to create a new identifier for the tournament because I don't include course history. Okay, I'm glad I remember this. The 3M Open. Let's use the 3M Open or the Rocket Mortgage Classic. They're one of the newer events that are on tour. The year that they debut, there's no course history. You can't use course history, especially if it's on a golf course that no tournament has been played before or played on. So it's like, you wouldn't want that just to be all empties, because then that would be 6s. It'd be marked as 6. And I could have wrote that into I could have wrote that into the course history, but I just rather it just say blank. I don't need it to say NA. Let's see here. So I need to add it somewhere. I could probably add it here. How about I just add it at the end of the data? I think if I put it at the end, it's not gonna really matter. I'm not sure what I'm doing with these. All right. We're going to use this column here. So 64157 all the way to the end. I'm going to create a new column. We're going to call this actually, I should just call this tournament ID. And actually, I should just put this in the front. I could have used the tournament ID for all of this information over here. All right, so I actually am going to do that. We're going to insert it right here. Call it tournament ID. Basically, what I'm going to do is create a formula yet again. And we're going to do this. We're going to call it Tour Championship. And I think I want to separate by underscore yet again. Tour Championship. Let's go year. And that's probably it. I probably don't need anything else. Yeah, I think this is all that I need. Should I put a week in there? Like the week number? Let's just call this like tournament name ID. Oops. Whoopsies. I do have a tournament ID number all the way over there on the left side. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So what I will do is I will just first click in here. I know you can't see it because Excel's being stupid, but we click in there and I'm actually gonna go like this, hit the shift button and then the left click at the same time. Go to the home page, go over to this fill up here. You guys can't really see it, but then we hit up. There we go. So now we have all the new tournament IDs. And I need this because I need to differentiate each year. And I think this is just a simpler way to do this for when I create formulas. And you know what? I forgot one thing. Let's hit the undo button. Scroll down to the bottom of this. And just hit this, I think this goes down. Nope, it doesn't. Right. I'm matching what I have right next to it. So we'll just do this. Okay. And then I will click on that cell, hit that shift left click or left click. You can see that. We'll go copy, click into this cell, right click, paste just the values only. So that gets rid of the formula and it just pastes in the data the way that I want it. So now that we have that, what I can do is I can write kind of the same formula that I wrote in for the strokes gain data, because I just want to see if there isn't like a Tour Championship 2022, then I don't want any data. For course history, that is. So basically I have to write in front of this formula if so I want it to say if there isn't a tournament prior to this one, say NA. Actually, let's do this. Let's delete this. Already an if error. So open parentheses. I know you guys can't see it on your screen. It's very, very small. So I need to create a new if statement. So if this how am I going to write this? I think I need to make it a count if, right? Yes, I think that's what I need to do. I think it needs to be an if count if. Yes, I think so. So if count if this range, we'll do the so I need to find Tour Championship 2022. I need to make sure there's a number for that. I think it's got to be greater than 0. Okay. Yes. Okay. We click into here. What's going on, Lombardi Lee? How are you doing? Click into here. We do the end symbol. Quotes. Lombardi, you just write in GIFs. Emojis, I should say. Hockey, golf, trophy, fire. Are you trying to send me a secretive code? I like it. I don't mind, by the way, sir. I don't mind. Oh, I think I know how to do this. Let's see. Hold on. I need to create a sum number, right? There has to be one. G. I'm looking at F. It's like similar to that sum function I just had. Why can't I think of how to do this? The brain is mush right now. FG 4157. Actually, no, I just need to find the other number. Okay. But I need it to be... Oh my goodness. might need some help with this one. I think it needs to be a COUNTIF, and I need to figure out. I want it to pull for the year before. Yeah, okay. I think I know how to do this. I don't know why I'm being so. I think it's COUNTIF, GG. And then I think I need to do sum. Okay, hold on. We do this one. And then we go end, sum. This minus 1. That's the criteria. Oh, I need another end symbol in there. There you go. If this equals 0, then I want NA. If not, we continue on with the if statement. Please work. Damn it. GG. Okay, COUNTIF. We're looking at column G. And in column G, what I'm looking for is FG146 underscore, and then the number that comes after the sum. Let's see, what would this be? So you can highlight over this to see what the number would be. It's 2022. Perfect. So we're looking for. Will it tell me? Oh, hold on. Tour Championship 2022. Yes, it does. Okay, so if you actually highlight the whole thing, you should get the answer up here. 29. Okay. So if it equals 0, then it's NA. And if not, then we go into the if, which we don't need an open parentheses for. We just go straight to if. Perfect. We got it. Holy moly. Okay, so basically, this is how we get to check this. So we select this. I'm gonna scroll up. I'm gonna go shift, left click. This will cover all of the cells that I want it, the formula to be applied to. I'll go fill and up. And I see the NAs already. This is beautiful. So we can cherry pick some of this stuff. So basically what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a filter, go to data, filter. And then I'm going to go into this tournament, and 3M Open is the first thing I want to see. It's perfect. So basically that first year that there's the 3M Open, I want my database to tell me there was no course history. So I want NA to show up. That's the big one. I've had this spreadsheet open for a very long time. I should probably save it, close it, and open it back up, because it is being slow right now. Who's in chat right now? I see 2 of you guys lurking. Show yourselves. By the way, this playlist is We're liking it. Okay, so 3M Open 2019 was the first year. Do we have NAs for buckets? We do. Look at that. This should be the first year where there should be course history, so it should just say 2020. Yep. So 2019 down to 2020. Dude. Gotta love when it works. Oh. Lee, I didn't see you say can't wait till April, the Masters. I didn't see that. I don't know if you edited it. I'm not sure if you can, but I didn't even see you say that. That's why I had said you just speak in emojis. I love it. I love it. Okay. So that works. I can do another tournament. Let's use the Rocket Mortgage. That's another good one. They debuted the same year. I need to add the, is it the Jeopardy music? The do. Yeah, it's the final answer. I need to add that. Sure, I'd get copywritten though. Actually, I do have a different one. When we don't talk, it's crickets. Lee, I'll be transparent with you. A lot of times when you're streaming, if you ever tried, I don't know if you've ever tried it, but your eyes will move so much faster than what your brain can keep up with. So like, I'll see like the emojis and not see the words before it. That's kind of why I said what I said. But that happens a lot. Someone will ask a question, or I'll be scrolling through chat trying to find, you know, previous messages or whatever, and like your eyes go cross-eyed. It's like difficult to see sometimes. All right, so we're validating Rocket Mortgage. This is the first year 2020. Everything above it should be NA when it comes to the buckets, and it is. Oh my god, dude, this makes me happy. All right, so that all works out perfect. Let's try to find a different tournament. I mean, 2 is pretty good. I usually like to look at 4 things to validate. I think Puerto Rico started in 2015. I think. Take a look. See if it times up perfectly. It did not. There we go. All right. See if I was right. Was it 2015 the first year? No, I have it all the way back to 2013, but it still should show NAs for 2013, which it does. Okay, what was another one? Barracuda? We can go to the Barracuda. Barracuda and Barbasol, those tournaments, I think. Lombardi, did you, or Lee, did you have any contests, any lineups entered into the Sony? Wow, Ludwig got it back to -1. 3 birdies in a row, of course. There's my boy Kuchar at -2. Will Zalatoris +5. Glad I didn't play him. Cammy Boy Davis is up there. Remember, pick Aussies during this time of the year. It's their summer. Sam Stevens -4. Norman Zhang -4. Stuart Sink, are you kidding me? -3. All right. Eric Cole's -2. We love that. All right, all right. Oh, I need to put Keith Mitchell up there. I'm liking my lineups though. Like the morning wave definitely had an advantage today, but I think overall it's going to be your PMAM wave that's going to have the most golfers inside the top 10. Unless somehow it gets rained out. Okay, Barracuda goes back to 2013. What the hell? Okay. Then yes, we go to the Barbasol. Next time when I do this, or next week, I think I've kept this Excel spreadsheet open for a full week, like on my desktop. So I'm sure there's like data that it needs, or, you know, bytes that it needs to get through. There we go. Yeah. Looks like 2015. Yep, that's right. 2015 was the first year. Go all the way over. Lovely. Let's scroll down to see 2016. There we go. I think it works. We've validated enough tournaments, I think. So we'll select all. This will probably take a little while. Okay. So if I go to 2013, I should see a bunch of NAs. Let's scroll all the way up. It's a 2013. So basically everything that I see from here up should just be NA. And even this Fortinet 2014, there wasn't a 2013 Fortinet, so it was the safe way, by the way, or it was fries.com. Yep, all NAs, and I should see nothing but NAs as I scroll up. Perfect. It worked. All right. So that was probably more time than needed, but it's okay. All right, so last year bucket. I think I already have it written into my last year's stats that if there wasn't, maybe not. I'm gonna have to write that the same conditionals in for the last year bucket, because that's right here. If I scroll all the way up, I don't want NA to show up. Yeah, okay. So yep, I gotta write that same formula. Oh no. Gotta write the same formula in that other stat, which is fine. We realize it works, or not so much realize, we figured out it works. So No worries. So the easy way to do this is just copy over the same formula you had created. Make sure you copy the right data. If it's less than 2014. Yeah, that was wishful thinking. That didn't apply for every last year bucket. So we'll actually remove all of that. Copy and paste what we just had. Add an extra comma in there. And then if false. Perfect. I think I just need one close parentheses, and then we hit... Oh, nope, never mind. We're good. Do that, go to the home ribbon or menu or tab, whatever you want to call it, hit that fill up. Should have the same result. So all of 2013 should have NAs, which it's showing right now. It's perfect, and then we get our numbers. You know what? I actually have to hit the back button, because one thing I forgot to double check, and I'm not sure if I actually wrote it in here. We want greater than or equal to numbers. Or do I? One of them needed greater than or equal to numbers. Oh, I wrote it a different way. I think this is fine. I think it was the course history buckets that I needed to do the greater than or equal to. Actually, I don't know. Let me talk this one out. You guys can hear my brain think. Actually, let me pull up what I have for the bucket system. So this is the Sony Open spreadsheet that I work off of whenever I go over the Sony Open. And I have my buckets here. So we have... Okay, I see. I did it less than 21. And then for course history, it'd have to be less than or equal to 20. Yeah, okay. Nope, we wrote it correctly. Because doing it the way that I did eliminates all that. And then let's just double check. First stop is if it's empty, it's 6. If it's greater than 80, it's 5. If it's greater than 60, it's 4. If it's greater than 40, it's 3. If it's greater than 20, it's 2. And if not, it's 1. Yeah, we're good. Actually, I just hit the redo button. Everything should go back to where it was. And let's validate some of these. Let's just randomly grab some. So here we go. We'll look at this one. This is a last year one. And this would be Brad Fritsch in 2014, the Farmers Insurance Open. We are looking at this column right here. He finished 9th place. That is less than 20, so that means it is in bucket 1, which is exactly what we wanted. And above him is bucket 6, which is a golfer who did not play the year before, and that's what we have there as well. It's perfect. Let me double check these right here, because these are also 1-1s. Course history 1 last year 1. They all finished 9th place. So yep, that works as well. And that was the year before. KJ Choi, Jason Day, Graham Dillette. Cool. Let's look at this one. 5-5. So what do we have there for 5-5? Scott Stallings, who won the tournament. 5-5 is a missed cut. Yep. Course history. and last year. Sweet. It worked out. Perfect. So the next one that I need to write out, actually, let me scroll down and just double check some of these other ones, like say this one. A 2-1, 1 meaning less than 20, which was third place, and he's in column 2, or not column 2, he's in bucket 2 for course history, which is that 20 to 40 range, and it's 38. Works perfect. Okay. We're doing our validations. You have to do your validations. This is beautiful. Whoever this is, it said, so this is these are my old bucket stats right here. Actually, all of this is the old bucket data. Add, and this is the new stuff. So 6-6 means he did not play the year before, which that's correct according to my data, and it is Josh Brock, which, yeah, I don't recognize the name, so perfect. Let's just grab a unique one. 4-3. There we go. We'll grab this one. 4-3. So 3 would be that 40 to 60 range. 4 would be that 60 to 80 range. So when we go to course history and last year, there's our 40 to 60, and there's our 60 to 80. All right, we're done validating. Worked out. So we shall scroll down. And oh, by the way, I can actually do a quick validation of what I was just... I even know where it was. Waiting for like Excel to highlight the cell for me. I guess not. What I can do is just do a random one. So I'm looking at these two columns. I'm on Excel. I can look at these two columns and these two columns, and they should be the same. 1 1 1 1. Perfect. That's what I'm hoping to see. 3 1 3 1 2 4 2 4 6 6 6 6 2 1 2 1 3 5 3 5. Okay, that's enough validating. It works. Ooh, we have some NAs here. What are the NAs for? What tournament is this? Mexico Championship. This is the first WGC event. Oh, this is 2022. I suppose it is different, right? It's gotta be different. At Vedanta, by the way. So yeah, that would be different. What did I name the other Mexico Championships? The WGC. I hope I just called it WGC. I'm gonna go to 2022 and see what the WGC... I hope it's a WGC event. Or even like 2021. Palmetto Championship. There should be 0 course history for that, right? Yep, perfect. Gotta get close to the Mexico Championship. Workday Championship. Was it, oh, you know what? COVID, I think, canceled it. Okay, so let's scroll up a little bit, get past 2020 when COVID hit, and get to 20. Yeah, I think there wouldn't have been a WGC Mexico. There was. Mexico Championship. This was a WGC event, wasn't it? Oh, we hit our first. Dang it. It was too good to be true. If there was pauses in course history or pauses in years, then that's... Dang it. Oh, that stinks. Okay, I think I know how to do this. I think I know how to write it. I have to put the less than symbol in there. So in my count ifs, what I want to do is put the quotes, less than quotes, and this is going to probably piss some of you guys off because I don't need the sum function. I think that's all I need to do. Oh, I need that and then the end. I think that's all I needed. Oh, I also need to add oh, I need to create that calculation still. Okay, let's go Control Z and keep all of that. Still need to put the quotes, less than quotes, and that plus oh my gosh. I know a different way to write this. Such a pain in the butt. It'd be going and looking at every single year. No, it has to be just prior to. It has to be less than the date currently. It's not going to look at it as a number. Dang it. Can I do count if this cell and that and quote less than quote that cell? God, I'm sure that's gonna break it, right? Oh, that doesn't seem like it's gonna work out. Yeah, it breaks it. Damn it. I have to do a bunch of count ifs. You guys are gonna hate me for this. I have to do a bunch of count, like I gotta do a bunch of nested count ifs. Okay, so I'm actually gonna hit escape. That'll reset everything that was already written. So I know you guys can't, oh, you guys can't even see it on your screen. I can't even zoom in to make it look bigger. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. It's this right here. It's this formula that I'm trying to work on. Okay, I'll leave it like this. My bad. The two of you that are still here, appreciate your your support. So basically what I need to do, I got to remember that I can do it this way. This looks so much better. I know it's still small on your set. Here, let me zoom in. Okay, so I have to create a bunch of nested statements. So basically, if we're going to do sum, okay? So I'm going to add a ton of these. So I don't want this to be -1. We just want that field, the end symbol. Because this count if should give me a value issue. Your range is that, and the criteria is this. So why does this spit out an error? Okay, it doesn't. All right. So this sum, this is an open parentheses. We get another open parentheses followed by a closed. So we just hit a comma. And basically we just hit all these count ifs. Actually, hold your horses, sir. Perfect. Okay. See, so this is how it's gonna work. So we'll do this. We'll go sum, count if, and now we create all of our nested formulas. Sorry, it took a while to get there. I know some of you guys are probably like, "What the hell?" Oh, I can't do it this way. I gotta do the -1s. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. You know that formula I'm really proud about that I did yesterday? I have to add this to the formula, to this formula. But in a different way. So the snapshot stuff. I need to need to copy this basically, but I'm not going to do the sums. We're just going to do the greater than. Or maybe we just do the less than. All right, well, we'll do it together. Okay. Yep, I got it. I got it. I don't have to do anything extra. We just do the same thing. We'll keep the nested formulas that we have right here. It's not going to be a sum right there. It's going to be a sum right here. So the nested formulas is this. Basically, we do that. So the red closes that. The green closes that. Okay, so I need to actually do it from here. So another nested formula. This one's going to be -2. That is disgusting. Whatever just happened, knock it off. We'll do another comma. Nested formula. This will be -3. And I think that's probably all that I need. I'll do another one just to be safe. Actually, just keep going. Might as well be safe than sorry. This one will be -4. A nested formula. This will be -5. We'll just keep going to 7, I guess. You never know when what tournament might come back. I don't think this will break it. I sure hope it won't, because this will be a lot of nothing. It worked. Oh dear Lord. Okay, so then I have to select all of this information and delete. Hit the down arrow, select the cell again, scroll all the way up to the top. Make sure that's all there. Go home and fill up. Okay. So this should have covered everything. A lot of it looks the same. Good. The reason that I had to do it this way is because I'm so happy that it worked out. I wonder what tournament this is. The first time the Barbasol Championship was played. Perfect. I had to do this because the Mexico... Okay, so which year was it? The 2021 Mexico Open? There's no course history for it. It was the 2020. So let me double check on that one. So we go to 2020... Or was it 2021 Mexico? I think it was 2020. I think it was. Was it earlier in the year? I don't think so. Wait, was that it? There it was. Yes, this is the one I'm looking for. This one should have course history. And it does. Thank God. Let's actually double check. 2. Over the course history, 37.33. That is a 2. Perfect. Who's still with me here? Show yourselves. I mean, I see I still have 2 viewers, and I just went through that whole headache of trying to figure out how to make this, how to provide the values that I want. I want to know who's still here. Show yourselves. What if I said I'll give you 5 entries into the giveaway, into the weekly giveaway for this next week, if you show yourself? All right, look at that. Too Cool Rad, who are you? Where have you been? It's the first time I've seen you in the chat. All right. You said you're here. I'm gonna go ahead and put your name in here a couple times, Lombardi. You get, I'm just gonna say you get, you're gonna just get 5 just for saying you're here. And Too Cool Rad, you gotta be subscribed, buddy. I don't know if you are or if you're not, but that's the only way you get into the giveaway. Let's see here. Lee, I'm a man of my word. Actually, let's see. I'll call this episode 2. There we go. Too cool, rad. I'm adding you one time, but if you can tell me you've been here for a while or that you've been subscribed to me, I will certainly add you 4 more times. Okay. See, can I actually see if you... Some people keep their stuff to private, so like even if you were to subscribe to me, I wouldn't be able to see it. But I do get emails of new subscribers. Too cool, rad. If you want to take the time and effort to screenshot that you're subscribed to me and email it to me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com, I will give you 5 free entries into the giveaway for $5. Last fall. Okay. So here's what I'm saying. So just so you know, I can see who's all subscribed to me. And I did try to I did try finding your name just by searching it. Again, you might have your stuff to you might have your stuff set to private, and that's why I can't see you. But yeah, I can see all the people that, like, the people that allow me to see them subscribe to me. I don't see your name on here. Not saying you aren't. Not saying you aren't, but if you go to your way to send me an email with a screenshot that you are fantasy dysfunctional, just so you guys can see. Not that I want to out anybody, but this is how I keep track of like the new subscriber over there. I just keep this all like, I skipped, I put Barry for the Tournament of Champions, and then I went down to VV Ryan. Either way, I think I'll just leave it at that, because I can't see you, and I'm showing you that I can't see your name. So even if you went to fantasy dysfunctional, no worries. I mean, hey, again, I already gave you 1 entry. I've got no issue with that, but if you want 4 more, just send me an email. And then I'll always remember that you're subscribed to the channel. So Lombardi, these it's Tuesday night live, and I make sure. So what I will say is, I'll run the giveaway. It is up to you to contact me. So like so Too Cool Rad. The other thing that comes with this, so Lombardi, if you were to win, how do I get a hold of you? Yeah, so next week, Tuesday. So next Tuesday I will run the giveaway. But just so you know, Lombardi, if I were to go into the person that just recently, well, I mean, he subscribed a while ago, I have no contact information. I could click on his name and it'll bring me to his page. I could go to community. You see how there's no, like, I can't see his email address. So community, more about this channel, YouTube. I can share the channel, but I can't contact this person. There's no way on YouTube for me to contact them. So when it comes down to winning a giveaway, you have to contact me and tell me like, hey, I won. What do you need from me? You know, usually I'll ask, I can send you money via PayPal or Venmo or PayPal, Venmo, I said PayPal, Venmo, Google Pay. We can do it those ways. Hey, I appreciate you guys being here, by the way. I mean, that's kind of the reason that I'm asking to see who's still in the chat, because it's cool. I appreciate it. And you just both had to go through that grueling, like me trying to figure out that formula thing, and you're still here. So I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Okay. So all of it should stay the same. There's just the NAs. When it comes to NAs, I want to make sure there wasn't a tournament beforehand. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to come across like I'm a dick or anything like that. Like, I'm not going, you know, like, I don't want you to think that I'm treating you unfairly or whatever. It's just, I literally don't have the capability of contacting you through YouTube unless you provide your information. Like, if you click on my channel and say you go to community, where is it? I should have my contact information. So like, I've got links. You can go to my Twitter. You can DM me there. Instagram. I thought I had my email address. Oh yeah, view email address right here. So channel details. See? So you can come to my channel because I keep this public. If you need to contact me, it's all in this more about section. And you can, yeah, you can contact me a bunch of ways this way. You can even I post on my community wall. I don't even know if I could post on that other guy's community wall, but yeah. The more you know. Too cool, rad. I do have a question. What are your sweet spot rankings based on each week in your spreadsheet? Are they your personal rankings? Good question. Let's see. Where's my Sony Open? So in that cheat sheet that I think there's actually a link in the description that'll get you that cheat sheet also. If you scroll all the way over to the right, this section right after, like, I leave a little white space right here to delineate between what is just the data that I'm providing versus the rankings. So these are all the ranking points that go into it. So like I have, you know, the grass stats. You can see that there are numbers in here that are populated that are different than what are populated here. You can see all the numbers are the same. There isn't a grass 2 at this event, and I just keep it like this because if there is a golfer that has 0 stats, I want to equivalent that to someone who, or equate that to someone who has less than average stats. Because like you can see Akshay Bhatia, he doesn't get a top 10 in the, or he doesn't top 10 Bermuda golf courses all that much. And if I were to scroll over to look at his top 10 Bermuda stats, 0 times has he finished inside the top 10. So we're going to penalize him, right? 7.5. So that's actually on par with what the lowest number is for each of those. But these are where all the points go. So this is all summed up to equal that. And if I were to click that, you can see this is actually adding in a formula there that adds up all those points. And I used to kind of go in depth about what goes into the sweet spot ranks. So like DK average, you wouldn't know what that is, but everything here in red goes back 365 days. So when we go 365 days from this date going back, Ludwig Aubert actually has a DraftKings point. This is based off of 100 points, I think. Pretty sure. I'll show you the engine that creates it. So I have this input sheet and everything gets pulled from here. So if I scroll all the way over to the left, it'll tell me what the formula is in here. You really can't see it. So I suppose you can see it right up here. Although I just made it smaller. Let's do it again. Click in there. So basically what I'm doing is if CD3 equals blank, then I want an average, and I want to take half of the average. So it's like kind of penalizing them a little bit. If CD3 is less than average, what's CD2? What's CD? CD is the DraftKings points, DraftKings average. So we're kind of like watering down the point totals here. What it ends up doing is it puts it within a structure of 100 points. So the golfer that has the best DraftKings points is going to get close to 100 when it comes to this DraftKings point totals. As you can see here, Ben Coles, by the way, has the best DK average. He has the max number, so he gets 100 off the rip. Everyone else, it's going to kind of go down like by like 10%, basically. So that's it's kind of complex, but it's also kind of simple. Basically, your best DraftKings points scorers are just going to have a better number over here, but I want everything to stay within 100 points. And so that's their weights, basically. So everything is going to have a max of 100. Whoever's the best at in these stats will be 100 points for all of these. And then I'm looking at recent form points, like their DraftKings points within the last 2 months, their average finishing position, and whatever their round by round scoring is. I'm then watering this down by 50%. So whatever the number comes out, it'll always be 50. And I actually kind of have, this is a little bit different that goes into this. So I'm looking to see how many events, like if a golfer has like 0 events played in the last 7 weeks, then I'm going to average it out. Like I then look at OWGR. That's what this is right here. I know you guys can't see it, but I know it's OWGR. So if they're in the top 50, I'm giving them 40 points no matter what, because they're the best golfers in the world. I want them to be rewarded even if they haven't really played that much, because they're the best golfers in the world. If they're less than 100, I'll give them 30 points and so on and so forth. Otherwise, then I have this whole way of determining point totals. And I'm very consistent. I do this every single week. So these points are a consistent model every single week. And the whole purpose behind that is so I can document it and then analyze it versus other years that I've done this. Because if you're shifting your goalposts when it comes to what goes into every single, well, I'll put it a different way. If you are going to shift your goalpost every tournament, then you need to do that every single time that you're analyzing your stats. Or not so much when you're doing your, let's say your lineup building or your research prior to the event or research while you're building your lineups. Because if you constantly change it, how can you evaluate yourself versus previous years? And I'm not saying my point total is like my rankings are the best, but they tend, I mean, like, let's see, let me open up let me open up the RSM Classic, because that's going to have a full field event. And if I go to 2024 and I zoom in, zoom in, there's 150 some golfers. So if I look at this column, how many golfers you see that are 100 or worse? I mean, 151, Ben Coles, I don't have any data on him. So like he didn't have a big bump, but you can also ignore him. He wasn't even in the optimal lineup. So if you ignore him, you've got 1 to 59. I mean, the number 1 golfer in my rankings won the tournament. Number 3 finished 3rd. Number 8 finished 5th. 4th down here, Russell Henley finished 13th. And everybody else is kind of in. The only oddballs are like 97 and 151. Otherwise, everyone is 60 or better. And if I put a filter on this and just sort A to Z, if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see there's 150 golfers. Only Ben Coles finished 5th. Like, the rankings are pretty good. And I've noticed that they've been pretty good, you know, throughout me doing all this. The rankings are into the marquee tee times. The rankings are also in the optimizer. So if you were ever to use the optimizer, it takes into account the rankings. But my key thing is they're always consistent. Like, my ranking is consistent. DK points. We're playing DraftKings, right? So why wouldn't we look at DraftKings points? And then average finishing position, average score, like their round by round scoring. Why wouldn't I include that? Bogey avoidance, birdie or better, driving distance. Why wouldn't I include that? That's all just, those are pretty static stats. They don't really change all that often throughout the years. So yeah, I think these are just like generic weights, and all I want to do is kind of like determine, hey, these golfers are the best golfers in the field. Not only does their OWGR show it, but so does their scoring averages, so does their average finishing positions, and so too does their OWGR, scoring, and their DK points. All 3 of those things I'd want, you know, determinant in my statistics, or in my model, I should say. So anyways, hopefully that answers your question. Okay. I do want to end this stream on a fun, not so much fun, but like I want to accomplish something like good. I know we were talking about, okay, what was I validating here? NA, what tournament was this? Sanderson Farms in what year? 2015. Okay. That checks out as well. I think that was the first year. Double check that. Let's see if there was a 2014 Sanderson Farms. I guess that's technically 2014, but went towards the 2015 season. And there was not one in 2013. There was. Oh, we didn't have course history. Duh. That's fine. NA. Yeah, this would be wrong. Why would this is right though. So we had a year of stats before that. I updated this one, so it should be good. Interesting. Okay. We just continue going up and validating, making sure I want to hit my NAs. Yeah, okay. Let's double check. What was this? Perfect. All right. Anybody have any questions or any suggestions? Is the 3M Open, I wonder? Mexico Championship in 2017. Was that the first year? There was no, it was the Cadillac at that time. Adam Scott won over Bubba Watson. What a good field. All right. I am going to call her quits. We got one thing accomplished, which is fine. We had a little bit of a stutter when it came to trying to figure out how to write some of these formulas, which I think we figured out. That was really the toughest one that I had though, because the other two are going to be pretty simple. Basically, if any tournament, so when I go to the recent form buckets, what I can do is kind of do the same thing here, paste this over here, but basically, instead of finding the dates, because recent form in last week will always go 1 week back, I just create an if statement. So we'll go if this equals Tournament of Champions, then we want NA. If not, if this field equals Sony Open, we want NA. If not, I know, we just hit delete there, then we go into our formula. Because the only two tournaments where we're not going to have a recent form or last week's stats, actually last week's stats is going to be different for the Sony Open, but for recent form is during the Tournament of Champions and the Sony Open. And why I say that is because I want at least the PGA Tour to have 2 events prior to the event that's being played within a 7-week span. So to say that differently, if I'm looking at a tournament, I want the PGA Tour to have had 2 scheduled tournaments 2 of them, at least 2 within a 7-week period of that event. If not, then I don't consider anything recent form. I don't want to look at an average finishing position. It's too far away. All right, so if this is N, oh, wait, no, yeah. If that is my conditional, then NA. Otherwise, if that is my conditional, NA. Otherwise, if, oh, we screwed up somewhere. Ah. There you go. Too many arguments. There you go. Needed to add 1 more parentheses. Boom. Works out. Let's see here. Too Cool Rad says, I see. I've been trying to use your sheet for underdog drafts. Does okay there as well. That's awesome. I've not done underdog drafts, so I'm not sure. Is it like underdog? Are those best ball drafts, or what kind of drafts are those? And is it week to week or is it season long? Lombardi Lee goes, when playing DFS for golf, what are some of the best ways to get above the field? Can you be more specific? Are we like to get above the field for leverage? To get above the field for what other? Like leverage on ownership, leverage on information, leverage on stats, leverage on like what do we? To get above the field. I'm gonna answer the question how I interpret it. Daily, each round, every day. Ooh, I want to get into underdog. That sounds awesome. That sounds fun, honestly. Lombardi Lee, how I interpret that question is basically like you want to have sharper insight than other people, right? So you want to have an edge on the competition, right? Yeah, and even so, you just said to get the field on leverage. Is that ownership leverage? Like, because like people will talk about leverage as if you've got 2 golfers that you're comparing to each other that are near the similar price point. But if you know the majority of the population is going to get one, like going to roster one guy, you would be the sharp person to roster the other person. Yeah, so how I interpret that question, Lombardi Lee, is I think to get leverage on other people, it is understanding what goes into a winning lineup, all the aspects, not just a specific stat, because a lot of people get wrapped up on ownership leverage. And ownership leverage, you know, to the people, the game theory people that say, you are playing against other people that are playing the same contest as you. That's true. That's true. But if I just simply play someone because they're lesser owned, like let's take Hideki Matsuyama, for instance. Hold on. Let me pull something up. I'm going to go to Chad Eckert, Fantasy Golf Pod, if my Twitter will load. He posted this. So let's find similar priced guys. If I scroll up, I'm just looking for an expensive guy that I know was expensive that's a lower owned play. We use like Keith Mitchell. Keith Mitchell right here. 2.64%. He was $7,500. Matt Kuchar, 17%. He was $7,800. So they're very similar in price point. Your game theory people will be like, well, is Matt Kuchar... I hate when people do this because it's not the right way to look at it. But you see Keith Mitchell is 2.64%. So what they'll do is they'll create a multiplier to get up to 17%. So we just count this as 2, count this as 17. And they would say something like, is Matt Kuchar 8 times better than Keith Mitchell? And I think that's a dumb way to look at it because that's not right. That's not how, like, what's it called? Oh, it's win something. I forget what it's called, but let's go ahead and let me show you the leaderboard right now. We scroll up. Let me throw in Keith Mitchell. He was struggling, by the way. I have him rostered. So Matt Kuchar is -2. He's -2. He's in the middle of the fairway on 16. I think there's a tree that overhangs here, so he might not have a clear shot into the green. But what was Keith Mitchell? Keith Mitchell gets a hole in one, so he holes out on one of these holes to go from +1 to -1. Now that's golf. That's golf. Don't get me wrong. That gives him a birdie a streak of 3. That's pretty good. That's golf. That's how golf operates. But he was doing poorly. Now he's at -1, and he probably has scored more DK points than Matt Kuchar because he's got that eagle. He's got a birdie streak. So yeah, he has more points than Matt Kuchar. So I guess in this scenario, the game theory people would be right. But when it comes down to it, this is round 1. We still have 3 more rounds to go. If Matt Kuchar outperforms Keith Mitchell by, say, 1 point, just by 1 point, if he outperforms him by 1 point, Matt Kuchar at 17% was a better play than Keith Mitchell. Hands down. There's no leverage there. Because you picked the right person. Now, someone might come in here and go, well, there's a $300 savings between Matt Kuchar and Keith Mitchell. Like, because Keith Mitchell was $7,500, Matt Kuchar was $7,800. So that $300 could have gotten you someone else. Yeah, could have. I don't know what to tell you. Could have, but it's still 1 point more. Now, roster construction, yeah, it does come down to roster construction. So the $300 actually does matter. But we'll see how all things shake out. It's hard to determine that right now. What are some other price? Oh, here's a perfect one. Maybe not a perfect one. No. So that was the first one I saw that was like kind of expensive. All these other guys are like $6,800. Horschel, Woodland, Ekro, Zalatoris. He's not doing great. I don't know if you saw that. +6. Like people will say game theory. Like we all know it was Will Zalatoris when he's healthy, he's good. So you're taking the chance right now. And if you're looking at leverage, he was $9,300. Let's see, where's my Sony Open? So $9,300. There's Zalatoris. You could take Chris Kirk at 95 or JT at 91. Let's see. I don't think I have either of them starred. So Kirk -4, and Poston. I think he's struggling. +1. So you could do the game theory thing and go, well, I want Will Zalatoris because his low ownership because no one else is going to play him. Well, yeah, you could have went with Chris Kirk at -4. And where was Chris Kirk? 18%. The tournament's not over. Don't get me wrong, tournament's not over, but it's, to me, whenever I hear someone like really go into ownership, it's like there are so many things like the ownership people will also talk about strokes gain data, and they have no idea what goes into strokes gain data, and so they'll marry those two together and come up with some reasonable like logic to pick a certain player, and one, their analysis on strokes gained is wrong, and two, it's not a multiplicative thing that you want to use for determining leverage. It's additive. Like 17%. If it, well, it's not even additive. It's not even that's not the thing to really look at. Is Matt Kuchar better than Keith Mitchell? If yes, then play Matt Kuchar. It shouldn't be, is Matt Kuchar 8 times better than Keith Mitchell? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's just a simple way for people to like put it in their brains like, oh yeah, no, this is how it works for me. This is how it should work for you, but it's not true. Thanks for the advice and breakdown and answering my question. I really appreciate this as I'm watching and listening to you talk right now. Awesome, dude. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, I have pretty strong feelings when it comes to ownership. I've heard some really dumb things said in the past about switching off of one guy who is a really good course fit, who has been playing well, who fits a lot of the trends that you would want for a golfer going into a tournament, for a lower owned golfer who is yet to be like, you just don't know. And you'll get 1, 2, or 3 times a year where the game theory people are correct and they parade around saying, see, game theory is the way to go. You guys are all stupid. And it's like, that was one, like there's 40 some events and you won on one of them. Hey, last year I won a GPP. Last year I broke even in my money and I didn't one time take into account ownership. So again, I've won a GPP. I was over break even. I mean, I was $6 over, if I'm being honest with you. $6 over break even. And I never accounted ownership into picking my players. I think that's successful. I mean, the GPP was for the quarter arcade, so I didn't win a lot of money, you know, doing it, but we built the GPP winning lineup last week during the Century. We had Ryan Henson in here, and he won $1,500 with one of the lineups the Optimizer built. The Optimizer doesn't look at ownership, doesn't care. So, anyways, if you want leverage, it's just understanding how to build your lineups. Like, the one thing I will give like Tambo credit on is its roster construction. It's all about how you construct your lineups. To me, ownership shouldn't be a piece of that. I just don't see why. That's my personal opinion. Like, where's Svensson, I wonder? Svensson was the highest owned golfer. I want to show you something. So Svensson +1. Doesn't look great. He was the highest owned golfer up here. Nearly 22%. You want to know why I knew Svensson wasn't a good play? And again, the tournament isn't over. But if I go to 2024 in my spreadsheet, and I forgot to do this last week, but I should have, I look at stuff like this. The buckets. I look at the buckets. Jesus Christ. Last year, last week. And Svensson. So he finished 41st the year before and 33rd the week before. So at the tournament or the Century, he finished 33rd place. The year before, so last year at this event, he finished 41st. To most people, it's like, where are you getting at with this? I don't understand. What's the big deal? Well, he's a 7K golfer, meaning that's where Vegas kind of puts him. That's how DraftKings does their pricing. So if we kind of find similar golfers, and I'm looking at top 10, and I'm looking at all 7K golfers, Matt Kuchar. So we go last week, 7th. I'm looking at another 7K golfer, Lipsky, missed cut. Another 2 other 7K golfers right here and right here. Top 20 position and then 27th position. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's a 7th, missed cut, 27th, and a 12th. You see how that's not 41? And I understand this is like being kind of like super narrow with my analysis. These are performance trends, by the way. They're not hoopla, as some people might call it. But if I go back and I look at, so we go 1 year prior to even, or we go into 2022, we got Keith Mitchell and Matt Kuchar. Missed cut, top 20. Okay, there are two 7K golfers right here. The next one, okay, so Ryan Palmer actually fits the Svensson mold. I don't want Ryan Palmer in my lineup. 41st position. Not that. It's just one other golfer. But then there's Keegan Bradley here, who also 7K, missed cut. 85 is missed cut in my database. Then I go to here, Kevin Na. Didn't play the year before. He does have that 20 to 40 range position with the Tournament of Champions the week before. But then I look at like Chris Kirk, missed cut, and then did not play. Mark Leishman kind of fits that mold of Svensson, kind of, but he's got two 20 to 40 finishes. And then we got Brendan Steele, top 20. So what I'm noticing is you want a top 20 or a 20 to 40 or a missed cut when it comes to your 7K ranges. And if they are playing the week before, you either want them to finish, you want them to finish top 20 or just not play at all. So if I go back to 2020, Ryan Palmer didn't play, top 20 in the 7K range. Lonto Griffin didn't play, top 20 the week before. Another 7K golfer, we don't really have any, but Vaughn Taylor, I guess, down here, missed cut. Keegan Bradley, that 20 to 40 range. If I keep going back, you're going to see the same thing over and over and over again when it comes to these 7K golfers. None of those fit the Svensson profile. But if we look at Kuchar, top 20 finishing spot, top 20. If I went down to Keith Mitchell was another like favorite play of mine. Missed cut. See, those are the trends I'm looking at. Brendan Todd would have been a good choice. Kuchar, Spawn, Putnam, Griffin, Keith Mitchell, Lucas Glover, Horschel, Grillo, Norman, although Norman didn't play really well today. Nick Taylor, Taylor Montgomery. Taylor Montgomery fits that mold. Who's at the top of the leaderboard right now? It's Montgomery. This is why I do the bucket system, because you see these things. Now, I also, when I go through the bucket system, I talk about the success rates, I talk about the frequency rates, and I tell you, hey, I mean, look at the 7K range that has all these top 20 finishes, right? You had Nick Taylor, Taylor Montgomery. Hey, Austin Eckroat did well today. Weird, right? SH Kim. So you got 4 golfers right there. 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 golfers in the 7K range with top 20 finishes from last year's event at the Sony Open. So when you are looking at this, you can't roster all 8. It'd be stupid to roster all 6. I think when it comes down to the percentage of golfers you want to play from this range, it's 1 to 3. So you got to figure out the 3 golfers that you wanted to play. Eckroat and Montgomery were actually good plays, and I think I put them in a lineup together. I want to show you. Oh, my lineup must have went backwards. So this morning I created one lineup. Oh, I couldn't put Montgomery and Eckroat together. That's what it was. I was trying to put Eckroat and Montgomery together and just couldn't. Instead, I was able to put Rogers together with Eckroat. But like, this follows the bucket system, like this lineup here. But Eckroat was one of my guys. I knew I wanted to play him. I knew I also wanted to play Chris Kirk, because there was something with 9K ranges and top 20 finishes as well. Like, it all kind of goes together, and that's why I look at the bucket system. Benny Ann was like one of the best choices from the bucket system, by the way. So if you can bet, I mean, I like Benny Ann to be a top 5 finisher. I like him to be a top 10 finisher. I don't know what kind of odds you're gonna get on that. But if you wanted to place a winning bet on him, it's probably solid too. Cammy Boy Davis, look at this guy. We love that. We love that. Ooh, we got some good lineups going on. I did a lot of Cam Davis, by the way. Cam Davis and Ludwig. Those were my guys. Ludwig and Cam Davis. I also did like Chris Kirk too. Kevin Yu was my cheap guy, and I played a ton of Kuchar. Anyways, I think that's what we're gonna call it. We talked a little. We got to hang out a little bit, so that was cool. Ludwig just got a bogey. What a butthead. As long as he gets a birdie on that last hole, he can keep that round under 70, hopefully bonus going. So if he can birdie the last hole, it's perfect. If not, then struck out. But yeah, we're gonna call it there. I only want this to be like a 2-hour stream at most, and we are at 2 hours and 17 minutes. So we're gonna call it quits. Too Cool Rad. Email me, man. I'll get you additional entries into that giveaway. Email me with proof that you have subscribed to the channel. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the stream. Thank you all for joining me. And next week, let me pull something up. Next week, you see the little join button next to my channel name? Click that join button. $1.99 a month. Actually, is it this? Member only live chats. Okay, you're gonna want the white tier. Member only live streams. If you want to see the if you want to see this stream next week, it's gonna be behind. Actually, you know what? I will eventually we're gonna get here. You're gonna want that $5. So hey, if Lombardi or Too Cool Rad, you win the giveaway for $5. The weekly giveaway, it's $5 you can just put right into joining this channel. You don't have to. Don't get it wrong. You don't have to. But when we start talking about the database stuff, when it gets more serious, it will require you to be a member of the channel. And by the way, it just helps support me, you know? Like I really don't want to punish anybody, but I also don't want to give away all my stuff for free. Not all of it. Most of it I will, but not all of it. Hopefully you guys understand. It's not that I don't care. I care. I give you guys a free cheat sheet every single week. I give you my free analysis every single week. But for the database stuff, when we get into it, it will require you to be a member of the channel. So anyways, we'll evaluate this week to week. Next week it might be free like it was today. We will double check. We'll see that. Yes. Join the channel. Hit the join button. Pick whatever tier you want to go for. By the way, I did this by like tee boxes. The red tees, the white tees, the black tees, which usually are the tips, or championship tee, play from the tips. You get a free t-shirt, data access. So I will give you all of my it actually will be a monthly thing. So data access based off of a monthly thing. And then if you ever want to come on, we can do a video together. That's how that'll work out. Anyways, that is all that I have for you guys. We're gonna end it there. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Tuesday live stream for the American Express. Otherwise, join me next Thursday doing the exact same thing I did tonight. Hang out, talk some data, have a good time. All right, see you guys later. Bye.